Good evening, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first decisions from new office, Seva Teerth, signs important files relating to welfare of women, youth and vulnerable citizens. BNP sweeps Bangladesh parliamentary elections. Prime Minister Modi conveys support to fulfill aspirations of people of Bangladesh in a call with BNP leader Tariq Rahman. And Zimbabwe beat depleted Australia by 23 runs in Colombo to pull off the biggest shock of the T20 World Cup so far. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party is set to form the next government after sweeping the 13th parliamentary elections, securing a commanding lead and crossing the two-thirds majority mark. This is according to official and party counts. As per results declared so far, the BNP and its allies are leading on 208 of the 284 constituencies announced, placing the party firmly on course for a decisive mandate. After nearly 2 decades out of power, the BNP described the outcome as an overwhelming public mandate. Its leader, Tariq Rahman, and Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir won their respective constituencies. The Election Commission said voter turnout in the parliamentary election and the simultaneous referendum stood at 59.44%. The twin votes electing representatives in the 299 constituencies and deciding on constitutional reforms were held peacefully. Analysts say the results reflect strong public support for pluralistic and moderate governance. Women voters, who made up for more than half of the electorate, turned out in large numbers, responding positively to BNP's messaging on women's empowerment and global aspirations. The BNP also projected a youthful and modern outlook during the campaign, with Tariq Rahman and his team emphasizing forward-looking policies and law and order reforms. In contrast to rivals accused of stoking fears of unrest, the BNP highlighted stability and tolerance as central themes. A short while ago, Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke with Tariq Rahman and congratulated the BNP leader on his remarkable victory in the Bangladesh elections. PM Modi conveyed his best wishes and support to Rahman in his endeavour to fulfill the aspirations of people of Bangladesh. In a post on X, Prime Minister writes and says, as two close neighbours with deep-rooted historical and cultural ties, I reaffirmed India's continued commitment to the peace, progress and prosperity of both our peoples. In other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled the name of the complex housing PMO, NSCS and Cabinet Secretariat as Seva Teerth on Friday. The complex houses the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Council Secretariat, Cabinet Secretariat, all of which were previously located across different locations. The major changes are that South Block has now become Seva Teerth, Central Secretariat is now Kartavya Bhavan, Rajpath has become Kartavya Path, Racecourse Road is now Lok Kalyan Marg and Raj Bhavan's Raj Nivas are now known as Lok Bhavan and Lok Nivas. Since 2014, the Modi government has taken steps to move away from symbols of India's colonial past and usher in a new mindset. And in its very first set of decisions after shifting to Seva Teerth, Prime Minister Modi signed important files connected with empowerment of poor, downtrodden farmers, youth and women of the country. The key decisions include approval for the launch of PM Rahat scheme, as per which victims of accidents will get cashless treatment of up to Rs 1.5 lakhs. This will ensure that immediate medical help is provided to anyone affected. Doubling of the target of Lakpati Didi scheme to 6 crore rupees. This will be boost women in empowerment to self-reliance. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund target has been doubled from Rs 1 lakh crore to 2 lakh crore. This will be immensely helpful to Indian farmers and help boost their incomes. approval for Startup India Fund Funds 2.0 with a corpus of rupees 10,000 crore. This will encourage startups in early stages and deep tech research. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has reiterated that India-US trade pact fully protects the farmer's interest. In a social media post on X, Minister says 90% to 95% of farm products produced in India have been left out of the trade agreement, in which the interests of farmers have been protected. He said the pact does not touch sensitive agriculture and dairy sector. The minister reassured the nation that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, farmers will always be secure, empowered and prosperous.
In the recent trade deal with the United States of America, the interests of farmers have been kept paramount and fully protected. In this agreement, all major crops of farmers, including wheat, rice, pellets, soya meal, corn, GM food products, spices, potatoes, have been fully safeguarded. We have also fully protected the interests of farmers producing major fruits, including apples. India's doors have not been opened to dairy products or poultry. The truth is that many of our products, including basmati rice, fruits, spices, tea, marine products, and many more, will find new markets, increase our exports, and boost farmer incomes. We have opened huge markets for cotton textile exports, which will increase the demand for cotton manifold, benefiting our cotton farmers. Every decision taken in the trade deal is in the best interest of Bharat and 140 crore Indians, including our farmers, our youth.
India's garment sector is set to scale new heights with enhanced access to US market, ensuring greater global competitiveness and a true level playing field. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said textile industry will benefit by the India-US interim agreement and will receive concessions on textile export. The agreement is still being finalized and is expected to be signed in mid-March. The minister said that with improved market access, the country's industry will compete on equal footing and expand its global footprint. The forward-looking step aims to strengthen the entire textile value chain from cotton farmers to MSMEs to exporters, boosting exports, generating employment and reinforcing India's position as a trusted global manufacturing partner. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has lauded the government's record on farmers' welfare and global trade achievements. The minister also hit out at the opposition, said that it is spreading misinformation and divisive politics. Praising the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, Minister Pradhan says on X that government has ensured full protection of farmers' interest, including the dairy and poultry sectors. Minister highlighted India's historic achievement in securing duty-free access to the US for garment and textile exports, calling it a major boost for industry and employment. Dharmendra Pradhan said Rahul Gandhi and the Congress are misleading the public and undermining India's achievements on the global stage. The minister also asserted that despite political attacks, India will continue progressing towards self-reliance and global leadership. In other news, President Draupadi Murmu inaugurated an all-India conference and nationwide campaign, Karma Yoga for Empowered Bharat, of Brahma Kumaris in New Delhi on Friday. The President launched Silver Jubilee celebrations of Om Shanti Retreat Centre. The launch highlighted combining material prosperity with spiritual values, leading to sustainable and peaceful society. Organized by Brahma Kumaris at Vigyan Bhavan, the campaign seeks to highlight the relevance of Karma Yoga in fostering a resilient, ethical and developed India. Addressing the gathering, President Murmu emphasized that achieving national goals requires integrating economic progress with morality and spirituality.
मैं अनेक वर्षों से ब्रह्मकुमारी संस्था के कार्य को देख रही हूँ। उनके अनुशासन, कार्यशैली और कर्मयोग को फॉलो करने के लिए कोशिश कर रही हूँ। ब्रह्मकुमारी ईश्वरीय विश्वविद्यालय राजयोग की शिक्षा देता है, जिसके निरंतर अभ्यास से मन को नियंत्रित किया जा सकता है। इससे व्यक्ति मन और बुद्धि का उपयोग अन्य व्यक्तियों और परिस्थितियों के प्रभाव से ऊपर उठकर पूर्णतः विवेकशील रूप से कर पाते हैं।
First phase of budget session of Parliament concluded on Friday as both houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, were adjourned to reconvene on March 9th. Lok Sabha or the lower house observed silence over the demise of former MP Bhagwan Das Rathore, who passed away on 21st January. During the question hour, Union Health Minister JP Nadda tried to reply to a question saying that if any medicine is found unfit for human consumption, it is promptly recalled from the market, but he could not complete his reply following opposition uproar, leading to adjournment of the House.
In Hindi and English in today's
Rajya Sabha also took up zero hour and question hour. During the question hour, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan answered a question regarding progress of Atmanirbharta mission in pulses. The second phase will take place from 9th March to 2nd April of this year. Following the Defence Acquisition Council's nod to the proposal to buy 114 Rafale fighter jets, Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh on Friday emphasized that Rafale aircraft will be manufactured outside France for the first time with 40 to 50% localization under Make in India program.
For the first time, Rafale aircraft will be manufactured outside France with significant levels of localization. We are seeking a minimum of 40 to 50%. I think they've already offered something close to 40%, but our intent is to take it to as close to 50 plus as possible, and we are confident that we can negotiate that. So first time Make in India Rafale outside France, backed up by a government-to-government agreement, no intermediaries, full transparency in the project itself. So Make in India, G2G, significant levels of localization, full authority to integrate Indian weapons and Indian systems. These are the sort of highlights of this program. End of the day, it also enables us to induct fighter aircraft relatively quickly, because the first of the Rafale Marines will start coming in 28. And after that, over a period of time, you will see from about 3.5 years from now, the first of these Air Force Rafales will also start coming.
Science and Technology Minister Jitendra Singh launched the BIRAC Research Development and Innovation Fund for biotechnology and related areas. Speaking at the event, he emphasized that the next industrial revolution is moving from IT towards biotechnology. He noted dramatic growth in the sector, pointing out that number of startups has surged from just 50 in 2014 to some 11,000 today, describing it as a quantum leap driven by fast-track initiatives that have been launched.
Startups in 2014, 50 or 60. Today we are 11,000. So if we had gone by same pace, we would have just been 100 today. So you can see the quantum leap that has happened, the fast track we have started moving, and the very recent budget is an evidence in itself with 10,000 crore biopharma Shakti mission, which is an acknowledgement of the fact that bio-manufacturing is going to be what the world is going to look forward to in the years to come. We are already number 3 in Indo-Pacific, we are number 13 in the world. We are also among the first who have, I think, which will be tomorrow, referred to as space biotechnology. And then would come space medicine, because we have already started experimenting with biotechnology, biotech kits in the space, though the kits which were provided to Shubhashi Shukla also went from his department.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Kremlin signals next Ukraine talks soon. And Munich Security Conference spotlights transatlantic rifts.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. The next round of peace talks between Russia, Ukraine and the United States will take place in Geneva on February 17th and 18th. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov confirmed preparations are underway. The Russian delegation will be headed by Kremlin aide Vladimir Medinsky. US President Donald Trump is pushing for a deal, but sharp differences remain over territory and security guarantees. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Kyiv is ready to attend. Japan is moving fast on its $550 billion investment package with the United States. Trade Minister Rosei Akazawa said discussions are centering on project funding and interest rate details ahead of Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's trip to Washington. The deal will include loans, equity and guarantees from Japan Bank for International Cooperation and Nippon Export and Investment Insurance as both sides push to finalize the first batch of deals.
The Japan-US Strategic Investment Initiative is intended to promote the mutual interest of Japan and the United States, ensure economic security and contribute to economic growth of both countries. For my part, I can say that I am negotiating with the clear awareness of the importance of making our Prime Minister visit to US a fruitful one, under the strong bond between the Prime Minister Takaichi and President Trump.
The US has signed a deal with Taiwan on Thursday, confirming 15% US tariff rate for imports from Taiwan, while committing Taiwan to a schedule for eliminating lowering tariffs on nearly all American goods. The document released by the US Trade Representative Office also commits Taiwan to significantly boost purchases of US goods from 2025 through 2029. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te has said that this tariff deal is a very important opportunity and will be allowing Taiwan to achieve a level playing field with major competitors.
Regarding Taiwan's export to the United States, we have secured reciprocal tariffs and the most favored nation treatment under Section 232. Taiwan's reciprocal tariffs will be reduced to 15% and will not be cumulative, allowing us to achieve a level playing field with major competitors such as Japan, South Korea, and the European Union.
62nd Munich Security Conference kicked off on Friday amid intensifying global security challenges. More than 1,000 participants from over 115 countries are attending this year's gathering. Ahead of the conference, Munich Security Report 2026 was released, describing a world entering what it calls an era of wrecking ball politics. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio have arrived in Germany for the conference. Rubio is expected to hold talks with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, President Zelensky and Syrian Foreign Minister al-Shabani, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen are also expected to hold talks with Rubio, including discussions on Greenland. She emphasized that Europe must take responsibility for safeguarding its own continent.
I will be repeating what I always discuss with them, that it's now time for Europe to do what is necessary for us to protect our own continent, but also to win. The world order that has been built up since the Second World War, which has been incredibly good also for a small country like Denmark, that's gone now.
And from Munich Dialogues, joining us is DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu in Berlin. Chiponda, what should we expect from this year's conference?
Thanks for having me. Well, since US Vice President J.D. Vance's speech at last year's Munich Security Conference, where he scolded European leaders for not doing enough for their own security, it has been clear that Europe needs to be doing more for its defense and security. And the last 12 months have shown that, with the ceasefire negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, in which the US has left out the European Union, and, of course, the tensions over Greenland. At this year's Munich Security Conference, the highest-ranking U.S. official will be Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, relations between the United States and the European Union have deteriorated over the last 12 months. And it is highly unlikely that we can expect to see any major improvements at the Security Conference. And while European leaders have not said as much officially, being more self-reliant in their security means that they need to be less dependent on the US for arms and weapons supply.
And what challenges does the EU face as it strives to become more self-reliant in defense?
Technically, the EU defense industry would be in a position to supply European militaries, but that would also mean that it would have to stop exporting to other countries, such as India, Brazil, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. So it is a question of priorities. And of course, selling arms to other countries is also about maintaining relationships with those particular nations. That's because, of course, these military systems need to be serviced, and they also may need software updates over the coming years. So it's something that we already see, of course, the European Union's reliance on the United States. The other challenge, of course, the EU faces when it comes to expanding production is the access to rare earth minerals, which are crucial for building defense products. And right now, the main supplier of rare earths is China, which has export restrictions. So scaling up production in the EU's defense industry and reducing dependence on the United States won't be easy.
Thank you, Chiponda Chimbalu, reporting there from Berlin. In Sri Lanka, anti-corruption authorities have stepped up enforcement with several high-profile arrests. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption detained a former Deputy Commissioner of Department of Motor Traffic over an unlawful vehicle transfer in 2017. Separately, 3 officials linked to state-run Lanka Setosa were arrested over the illegal sale of nearly 55,000 kilograms of onions, causing a loss of Rs 17 million. Investigators also took the additional general manager of National Water Supply and a businessman with custody for misusing over 12.7 million rupees in project funds to lease a luxury vehicle. All suspects were produced before court, with some being granted bail. In sports, Zimbabwe depleted Australia by 23 runs in Colombo to pull off the biggest shock of the T20 World Cup so far. After posting 169 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in their 20 overs, thanks mainly to Brian Bennett's classy 64 not out, Zimbabwe dismissed Australia for 146 all out in 19.3 overs. The Zimbabweans were always in control after opening bowlers Blessing Mzabani and Brad Evans ripped out Australia's top order. Mzabani was the pick of the bowlers, finishing with 4 wickets for 17 runs. The Sports Authority of India has put in place a clear, enforceable, sports-first operating framework that governs how non-sporting events are allowed in national stadiums. Non-sporting events are approved only after it is confirmed that they do not disrupt competitions or training. If there is a conflict, commercial activity yields. DD India correspondent Tapush Bhattacharya gets us more.
At Delhi's Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, the message is clear: sport comes first. Amid growing debates over concerts at national stadiums, the Sports Authority of India has put in place a structured, enforceable sports-first framework. This is not ad hoc decision-making. It is policy-driven, documented, and backed by accountability. Sporting calendars, elite training schedules, and recovery windows are treated as non-negotiable. Non-sporting events are cleared only if they do not disrupt competition or preparation. If there's a conflict, commercial activity gives way. On the ground, the field of play, including the Mondo Athletics track, is a protected zero-load zone. A 4-layer structure protection system is used, with strict zoning and barricading to prevent damage. Event organizers bear full responsibility for protection, restoration, and costs. The stadium is inspected before and after every event, and it is not handed back to athletes until certified fit for sport. Training continues throughout, with athletes using the warm up track and facilities inside the complex. India's concert economy may be expanding, but at JLN Stadium, sport defines the rules. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
That's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.